Welcome to the Couple-preneurs Show, helping couples in business develop structure and strategies that nurture the balance between business and home, bringing you interviews and insights to give you the secret sauce of power couples. Here are your hosts, Oscar and Kaya Frazier.
Entrepreneurs, couple-preneurs, people in business, those that are afraid to get into business, those that look at other people that are already in business and begin to scream. If any of those things remotely sound like you, this show is absolutely for you. Today, I am very excited to announce the special guest that we have with us today. But before I do that, let me turn it over to Kaya. She can do her thing because she's looking at me already, ready to cuss me out because I almost forgot about the sponsors.
Why cuss? Why cuss? Okay, so our sponsors today, Carolina Runners, family-owned trucking company. Owner-operators out there, if you're looking for an authority to get up under, please give them a call, check them out. You can find them at carolina-runners.com. And then we also have Talk Shirt to Me, shirts that speak and help you express your style. They've got all these cool slogans and everything, those really cool, like I got one that said nostalgic. I think, Oscar, you have one as well that says
a whole lot of the shirts,
been socially distanced, I believe it says. So you can check them out at talkshirttome.com.
Yeah, one of the last shirts I got from them was, I think it was Whiskey and Politics.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, you know, even though I don't drink anymore like that. So,
Whiskey and Politics.
You know, I noticed I put like that on the end.
Like
so I still drink a tad, but just not like that.
Just a smidgen.
Right. So for everyone that's listening, let me kind of explain to you all why I think this is a very, very important conversation. So as most of you know, this show is centered around couples that are in business and or entrepreneurs, you know, etc. Outside of that, when Kaya and I are having our conversations with various business owners, entrepreneurs, and we're providing business coaching or counseling, one of the things that always comes up is, how do I turn my business into revenue generating? And then ultimately, how do I begin to build additional revenue streams? As most of you will read in most books from highly successful individuals, you will hear that they talk about stuff like having 7 different, revenue streams and different ways in which to generate money. One of those that I've always wanted to learn more about, and I've dabbled in it a little bit, but not nearly enough to be dangerous, is around the concept of commercial real estate and investing, right? So in our mind, we've built all the technology businesses, we've built some, logistics businesses, et cetera, but we've always kind of been afraid of that commercial real estate space as it pertains to actually investing and purchasing. So that's why I'm really, really excited to have on this particular call with us today, Mr. Dorian Carter. Dorian, how's it going, man?
It's going great, Oscar.
Great, man. Well, we are super excited to have you on the call today. I know the listenership will definitely benefit a lot from you, and also because we've known Dorian for quite some time. I mean, Dorian, let's see, when did we meet, man? Was it like back in like 2000? I don't know, 11, 12 or something like that?
Oh, yeah, it definitely was there around 2011 time frame when I first moved to Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, during that time, I was only maybe 21, right, Kai? About 21 years.
All right.
It might be all just by a few years there.
Quite a few.
But one of the things that I always admired about Dorian and his company, OnPointe Partners, LLC, is that, he's remained consistent, right? I don't go to Dorian and ask him what is he up to these days, and now he says he's got a hot dog stand or that he's now a barber. What he's done consistently, and he has found a way to drill into and find a very specific niche within the commercial real estate and investing space. And I've always admired that, and I respect that about this gentleman. So, Dorian, if you can, walk us through, who you are, your background, how you got into commercial real estate and investing, and what your company provides now.
Yeah, absolutely. And hello, Kaya. I'm so proud to be on the show today. Thank you for those great comments. My name is Dorian Carter. I am president of OnPointe Partners. We're a commercial real estate investment firm. We do business across the country, consulting on projects as small as a business moving into a new location up to major mixed-use developments across the country. And so I help various individuals and companies invest in commercial real estate. And why I also include companies, because your company is a method for building wealth in commercial real estate. And so I've been in the industry since 1999. I've worked across many states all the way to Los Angeles, California. So my business is specifically focused on how to help people, namely African Americans, to build wealth. We traditionally been shut out of commercial real estate, and so it is my mission to help individuals invest and build wealth through commercial real estate.
That is definitely amazing,
That's
man.
outstanding.
Yeah, and a lot of folks that don't know this as a sidebar. I mean, a lot of people have heard Kaya and I talk about the restaurant industry that we got into back in 2015.
Yeah.
And Dorian actually was the broker who helped us to find the location. I mean,
Yes.
he was very, very instrumental in that. Taught us a lot about how to find and get into that. But that was really only on the lease side of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Getting into this from an investment perspective, when you're looking at long-term wealth building, Dorian, what does that actually mean? If you simplify that down from a perspective of long-term wealth building, commercial real estate, like what does that mean?
Yeah, absolutely. As you know, many wealthy individuals have commercial real estate as a portfolio. So when we talk about utilizing real estate to build wealth, it's consistent across the board. Wealthy people use it to build their portfolio. So they focus on acquiring income-producing property. So income-producing is shopping centers, strip centers, single-tenant net lease, Walgreens. They focus on buying commercial real estate assets that produce income. You keep that in your portfolio over time, and so you're building wealth over time by the value. So as the income increases in the properties that you have year over year, so does the value of it. And so it has a better growth over time as compared to residential property. So when we talk about commercial real estate, it just means you buy a property that's going to produce you income over time, cash flow, and then at some point you can decide to sell, buy another real estate asset, cash out, and over the years you build a long-term cash flow and increase in wealth through commercial real estate ownership.
So I'm going to ask that 500-pound gorilla question in the room, and that's around credit, right? Everyone doesn't always have the best credit scores and things like that. Is it the same methodology with commercial real estate to gain or to get, let's say, a strip mall or to get, a small shopping center or something like that? Is that something where you have to have good credit? And if you do, then you also have to have a lot of liquidity in order to get into something like that?
Well, it depends, and that's an excellent question. It is not like qualifying for a residential home where you have to have high credit, or in a residential home, you got to have some kind of credit, usually whatever it is, they're doing 580s now.
Right.
But actually, you can do that in commercial real estate, because commercial real estate doesn't focus solely on the credit. It focuses on the tenant you have in there and the fact that those tenants are paying rent. And so that's the number one focus as it concerns commercial real estate, in that the financing of commercial real estate comes from the investor or the corporations that occupy the property and businesses that occupy the property and pay rent. And so the name of the game in commercial real estate, though, is forming partnership with other people that have investment, so other people's money, bringing it together to acquire a commercial real estate building, and then now you are part owner of a particular deal. So the name of the game is partnership. Some people, however, do have enough liquidity that they decide to get into it. But the actual approval of a commercial real estate deal is not solely based on credit. It's based on the income of the tenant that's in the property in which you own.
I just learned something new, man.
I did too.
I just learned something new. I was under the impression that it would have to be, credit based. So interesting concept, man. One of the things that Kai and I have talked about before is trying to find a way to get, so if you think about when people do like those, like Airbnbs, right? And they're renting those out. And some people are like, you can get into this without having to actually own the house or the property, right? You can sometimes, maybe you can get a lease and then you can kind of, still do your Airbnb thing and make a lot of money. Within the commercial real estate space, can an individual, let's say, lease a strip mall or lease something like that and then be able to still generate the income, or does it have to be an actual purchase?
Yeah, generally you wouldn't see that. The owner themselves of the property generally will not lease it to you and then for you to lease it to someone else, because now they don't have control over that asset growing in income. And let me say something you've seen, you've heard in the Airbnb sphere, and it's got people thinking to operate in that way. When you lease a property from somebody else versus owning it, now you lose, and certainly I'm not a tax professional, but I do know that you lose the ability to write off construction costs, depreciation, because you're leasing it. And so there's a certain advantage to owning commercial real estate, and most people do it because of the tax implications.
That's right.
The benefits of owning it and the tax write-offs that you get far outweighs using that strategy. Certainly, some people, it's okay, and I believe it's okay if people need to get started if you got no capital by leasing and doing it, but it wouldn't really work at all in commercial real estate. You could, but the chances of an owner just letting you run a whole property, and you would have to have pretty good credit in that case for him to trust you that you're going to keep the property going to make a profit. Certainly it has been done, but it's a very difficult thing to get done in the commercial real estate side. Interesting,
man.
So I have a question. Being that you have been in entrepreneurship for quite a while and, acquired great success in it, are there any nuggets of information that you would, let's say, for instance, we rewind the clock and you're talking to your 20-year-old self, are there any nuggets of information that you would give yourself to help you, miss some of the hurdles or get around some of the pitfalls that you actually experienced as you were building?
Yeah, I would the one pitfall you can't really get back is the time that you enter in the business. Many of us pass, buildings that need some work and opportunities, but we really don't understand how that building can turn into a significant asset, few $100,000, $1 million asset, that raggedy building that you pass. And I would say it's time, because you can't get it back. You need to get started early, even on the lower end. So the key, I would say, is, of course, it's like anything. We all heard about degrees. I got a couple of them. But in my opinion, nothing beats hands-on and getting out there and doing a deal. And so those are the two things I would say. Get out there, get it done, and start early.
That's definitely cool. Now, another aspect of this, Dorian, and this is going to get a little bit more on the personal side, is, couples that are looking to do stuff like this, right? Because you always hear, a lot of couples may get together and they're saying, look, what can we do to, generate some additional revenue within our entrepreneurial portfolio, right? And they're trying to find ways to do that. But then sometimes it may be one person is not really the entrepreneur and the other one is, and they may not see things on the same wavelength, or things may not work out in some cases. Has that ever happened to you, or have you experienced anything like that you can offer, your perspective, your experience, and any advice?
Yeah, I am a person that was married for 21 years, and I've been in a situation since then where it could have turned into long term, but it didn't go in the same direction, or we wasn't going in the same direction. So the one thing I would say is, if you're already in a long-term relationship, marriage, whatever, you really have to seek to come into alignment. It's not going to work. Matter of fact, more things will fail if you're not into alignment. That is first. But if you haven't gotten into a situation where you committed long-term, you have an opportunity to come into alignment. And the problem, if you think it gets better before, it absolutely doesn't. It will not get better by coming together and saying you're going to work together. The most important thing I learned in life is finding someone that is aligned with where you're going. So that's both spiritually, physically, and business. And no, you don't have to be the best type of person or the best type of person to align with, that is somebody that thinks different than you.
That's right.
Because what you'll learn is, in investing, it's always better to have two ways at looking at things so you can make better decisions. So first, if you're together, you got to come into alignment. Don't invest money or a dollar on anything until you're aligned, and beforehand, align with someone. Do not align with someone or get with someone you're not aligned with. It will waste 15 or 20 years, of which time you don't have.
That's right. Yeah. That's solid advice, man. Yeah.
I think that goes back to that transparency piece that me and Oscar talk about a lot. And we had to learn early in our relationship, as we, started jumping into entrepreneurship together, is kind of being transparent about what are our goals, what is really driving us to create this business, and what are we trying to achieve. And then if that is aligned, like Dorian said, then you move to the next element of it, and then starting to establish lanes, right? Which is complementary to that piece of our brains work differently, and we have to acknowledge that and be honest about that. Whereas, I'm more on the creative side, Oscar's more on the operations side of the house. So we had to understand that and understand how those two things complement each other and kind of make the puzzle whole. But we couldn't decide that, okay, now today I'm going to jump into the operations side and try to tell Oscar how to do what he does best, or vice versa. Yeah. So I agree with you, Dorian, as far as like aligning and understanding clearly what the vision is, understanding that you both think differently, and understanding how those two things can complement each other. And then you make the investment, then you take the risk, and then you do the jump.
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, at the end of the day, it's always going to be a bit of a crapshoot, right? I mean, when you jump out there, and this is one of the things that I tend to laugh about when I talk to, like, sometimes newer entrepreneurs or newer people that want to get into business, and what they'll say is they've done all this planning, right? They've done the shiny business plan, and they've created all of this fancy stuff, and it's like, okay, but have you actually done it, right? And so the thing about this is no matter how much you plan, there's going to always be something that's going to happen.
Yeah,
that
Absolutely.
changes. So that's why I really like what you're saying, Dorian, about being in alignment. And if you're not in alignment first, that plan you might as well throw that plan in the trash, because if you guys aren't aligned properly, to your point, spiritually, mentally, physically, etc., it's going to be tough, man.
but also from
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dorian.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the number one failure point of any relationship, whether you're with someone in marriage, whatever, business, and just plain old partners. It's alignment. Number one failure point.
Yeah, makes sense.
I also, one thing that came up when you were just talking, Oscar, was, if you are not aligned, what happens when that first hurdle occurs?
Yep.
Or what happens when all of a sudden your plan doesn't fall through, and now you've got to figure out what we're doing next,
right.
So that alignment is very, very, very vital to having a successful relationship while you're an entrepreneur.
Yep. So Dorian, talk to me a little bit about commercial real estate and investing. I think you got another company in addition to OnPointe Partners. You've also got CREIN LLC. Like, what does that entail?
Yeah, CREIN stands for Commercial Real Estate Investment Network. That is a mentorship program that I have. So I train individuals that know nothing about commercial real estate. I teach them how to invest in commercial real estate themselves. And so whether someone's helping you or you're going in it with a team, you need to understand how financially this works. You need to be able to understand the figures around commercial real estate. And so we have a 12-week program where we bring you in. Well, when I say bring you in, it's online, where we train you in commercial real estate, how to understand the marketing side to it, how to locate a property, how to do the financials, and understand the investment as well as find investors. And so that program is an A to Z program that helps you at the end of 12 weeks be ready to invest in your first commercial real estate property.
Wow. Man.
Oh, wow. Learning from the guru.
That's huge.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, I really, really like that, man. So Dorian, for folks that, want to, get into that training program, or really just reach out to you to kind of get more information about your company and about overall commercial real estate, how would they go about doing that?
Yes. The best way to reach out to me is go to my website. It's onpointepartners.com. And actually, the better website is doriancarter.com, which leads directly to OnPointe. You'll see both of the businesses there together. Reach out on any one of those links there and schedule some time with me, and then we can get you started, tell you more about the program. We don't take everybody in our program. We want only those that are totally committed and going to jump in, learn it, and follow through. I believe in teaching folks, but I want them to actually gain success. So we want the people that is willing to work it, to jump in and work hard to learn this stuff and then go out and do deals and build wealth for your family.
Excellent, man. We'll make sure that we put all that stuff inside of the show notes as well, so people be able to get, links to you and links to your website, et cetera. Dorian, as always, man, it's always good, talking to you. I feel like every time I speak to you, I learn something new, and I really, really appreciate you taking the time to speak to myself, Kaya, and our listenership. I'm sure that they're going to really get a real good kick out of what you talked about, as well as some good nuggets for them to continue their success.
I appreciate you having me. And I want to say one last thing. Sure. For those folks that own businesses, the SBA has some great programs where you utilize your business to acquire commercial real estate. And I tell you, right now, They have some of the best deals going out. If you're already renting, they have programs with 0 down right now where you can acquire commercial real estate under the SBA 7A program. So reach out to me for that as well.
Excellent, man.
That is outstanding.
Good stuff.
Really is.
Well, Dorian, hang tight, man. We'll talk to you a little bit more, but we'll definitely get you back on the show here soon, man.
Okay, I look forward to it, and thanks once again for having me on there. Glad to help.
All right, hang tight. Thank you. Take care.
All right.
You've been listening to the Couple-preneurs Show. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.kothoughtleaders.com.